There's a process that happens where an individual begins to take on the persona of a runaway. Okay, so first off, it's an individual will recognize and see that there's something wrong, right? And this is where they'll have a conscious conflict with what they believed about the situation previously to what is now coming into full view in their mind. And they're able to conceptualize what was a conflict before about what they believed about a situation versus what the situation actually is. So for example, like you could say religiously, I thought that I was in a system that was really there, where I was brought in to build God's kingdom. You know, that's what I thought. Well, when I started noticing how I was treated, that's when I realized, wait, this thing is not about Jesus. This is about something else. And that was hard, because if it really was about Jesus, then I wouldn't have been treated the way that I was. Okay, so that's not just my own experience. That's actually experience of many people within the system at the Rock. That's actually what happened. And then at SD Church, the same exact thing. Like I realized that there was some things there that weren't about Jesus. It wasn't about building a kingdom. It was about building a kingdom of one particular pastor. So that's what actually happened. And then when you say politically, you think that it's there for the social aspects of the nation, to gaining political power, to push forward some of the ideas that you think would be right for the environment or society or whatever. But then I realized that, wait a minute, like what these people actually are and what they're doing doesn't seem to really match up to what they're saying. So you recognize the inconsistent motives, inconsistent words, where they'll say one thing in one place, but then do something else in another place. So we're all about Jesus over here, but the moment that somebody doesn't agree with it, we'll just get out. It's like, well, there's no Jesus in that. We're for the environment over here, but then we'll remove the protections out there that really are and can help oceans, roads, lands, and all that kind of stuff, and really kind of show that stuff up, or whatever. So those are just a couple examples. Well, when you have that that break from what you think is reality to what actually is reality, then you have a full conflict internally. And then what ends up happening is an individual will begin to voice those differences and ask certain questions, ask things about what they see. So runaway slave will be an individual who actually will start to talk and start to ask questions. This is the beginning to embody the persona of a runaway slave. Now the issue becomes they have to figure out who's safe to actually to voice these things to. Because I can tell you, like, I sent a video out, one of my last videos ever made when I was at the Rock, to people on the church, basically saying, hey, me and my wife, we got to heal through some stuff and yada yada. We look forward to moving forward and stuff, but we just got to heal. And Miles and Mark Stevens, they took that as me attacking the church, and it wasn't attacking the church. I was just telling them we had to heal through some crap. I'd been through some crap at San Isidro because of the leadership there. So it's like, I wasn't attacking nobody. I was just being real about what my experience was. But they took it as an attack, and they basically came at me hella sideways. And they wanted me freaking off of the staff, which was ridiculous. That's what Miles and Mark were. Mark Stevens were. These guys were. That's who they were. And I learned that over time. So that's what happened. Well, for me to actually say this, I wasn't even coming at people at the pastor side. I was just saying I had to heal. Well, for me to even put a drip in there to heal from what? Well, to heal from how I was treated. This is my personal experience of what happened. Well, what ended up happening was I got fronted. People came at me sideways. I don't know who on the staff shared that video with them. I didn't send it to them. It wasn't really about them. It's just about something else. And whoever it was that was supposedly a friend of mine really wasn't a friend of mine. They actually were an individual that were there part of the system and were trying to uphold the system. So that's what I had to learn. That was a very, very hard moment for me that somebody I sent that to turned on me. Well, in that, being a runaway slave, that moment I became a runaway slave. Because at that moment in time, I no longer was supporting the system. I no longer was saying that this system is what the facade was, okay? And I was basically saying that there's something else going on here. Now, I did that kind of inadvertently. I wasn't really trying to do it. I just was saying, hey, we just need to heal through some stuff. And people took it the wrong way. Well, I became a runaway slave because I was basically injecting into the situation that there was something unhealthy taking place where I had to actually heal through it. Now, like I said, I didn't know that that's what the way it would be taken, but that's how, what these folks really, were afraid of. So to go and to embody this whole thing, what ends up happening is you start to process your situation for what it truly is as you are experiencing it. And this is where people get mixed up with some of the vocabulary. They say, well, this is my truth. I don't ever use my truth. That's subjective. What I'm talking about is my experience. That's what my experience is. That's what maybe your experience is. So don't get those mixed up, okay? Kind of stick to the freaking simple, what truth actually is. And in that, as I saw it happening, as people had to go through their own experiences, you get to call it out for what you see. Now, the difference, though, is that are you willing to find out who the safe people are? And I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, there will be a point in time where I actually create something where people are going to have an ability to speak into the truth of what they experienced when they went through, like either their transition at the Rock Church or any other spiritual establishment that turned out to be extremely negative for them, because there's more people out there who have been decimated by these experiences, who have been left spiritually orphans without people even really knowing it. It actually happens a lot more than you know, not just at the Rock, but actually at other churches as well, because of things that pastors were doing. I mean, I heard this guy was telling me about something that happened with his pastor, where his pastor was sleeping with his wife. It's like, I mean, come on, man. The people don't understand what the role of pastor actually is, and just use it for their own gain. That's actually, I want to talk about this real fast as well too. When the position is actually pursued just to get power over people, that's not a pastor. Okay, it's not. That's an individual who's a motivational speaker. That's all they are. I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing, but it's like call it is what it is, man. Just call it is what it is, okay? So people are geared to be motivational speakers, and they're geared to be motivational speakers. Just call yourself that. Don't call yourself a pastor when in reality you're not. You're just an individual that wants power, because you want power to have people follow you. That's what people do. So I'm saying this to you because I want you to understand what that actually means, and to become a runaway slave. The first thing you got to actually do is you start to let the synapses freaking connect. You start recognizing that there's things here within the system that don't actually add up. And then the next thing is you find people who you can actually talk to about that, who are safe people. Remember, there's people out there who are undercover, not safe people. They're people who are undercover that really do not have your best interests at heart, and they are there to support and to abide by the system. And if you don't know, then you'll fall victim to these goofballs, whatever, So just understand that. But then there's people out there, and I'm just letting you know, I'm a person that is a safe person in this, because I've been through it. I know what it looks like, I know how it feels like. I know what it looks like to lose an entire spiritual, to be involved in a church for, from 2007 to 2016. I mean, that's almost 10 years. You're talking about deep spiritual roots and stuff, and then to lose that, that's freaking decimating. So, people need to know that what that looks like and how that feels and that type of thing, and then to know that there's actually sunlight and sunshine on the other side. But you just got to get through it. You have to actually work through it so that you come out of that other side healthy. It's a real process, okay? So I'm talking to you about this because I need you to understand that there is another side to that. There is a positive aspect of it, but you got to go through the adversity, because to become a runaway slave in this spiritually is no joke. It really is. It really can be really a hard process, but in the end, it really works for your benefit, because you do find freedom. You actually do find freedom. Take care.